Welcome to Squared Circle Spotlight, the heavyweight champion of wrestling podcasts.
Oh, you didn't know? This is episode 6, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. I wanted Jeremy to do that, but I didn't know if he'd be prepared. Uh, Welcome back to episode 6. This is Squared Circle Spotlight. If you haven't checked us out, make sure you do it on YouTube, Instagram. We're getting a Facebook set up too. We're there. YouTube, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We're everywhere. Check us out, Squared Circle Spotlight on all of them. Check out all our past episodes. Make sure you listen to this whole one. We put clips up all the time. Come back, watch the whole thing. It's fun. Have fun with us. This week we got some topics again. We're going to go into the finals of our botch bracket. So we've got a good one here. This is a clash of two titans. What's the funniest botch of all time? Find out tonight with us. Then we've also got another segment of our merch table. So Charlie's going to have some merch for us again. Don't know what it is this week, but it's always a fun one, especially when we get weird mutant figures. Then we're going to take a deep dive. We're going to dive into Night of Champions, give our takes on it, and we're going to find out who lost and who faces our stipulation of wearing a luchador mask in our whole next episode. So stay tuned, find out that. And then we're going to jump into our gimmick of the week, another real weirdo. We've had a couple weirdos the past couple weeks. We've got another very vague one. So we're going to jump into that as well. So make sure you stay tuned for that too. This is a fun one. Not a lot on them, but you're going to find out something today. So welcome back. Let's get started with our little warm-up question here. So I'm going to let you guys go first. What's one thing you would change about current wrestling? So if you can change anything to make it better, anything more fun for you, what would it be?
I think Charlie should go first on this one. A real serious answer. I can't probably give much of substance on this one.
Well,
Charlie?
mine's going to be controversial, right? Because it is probably my favorite pay-per-view of the year. Well, if not, behind WrestleMania, but it's the most fun pay-per-view of the year. But the Royal Rumble, I think it's just the prize of WrestleMania main eventing is too much for, it's supposed to be randomly selected. I know we know who it's gonna win going in, kind of, but I think the main event of WrestleMania should be based on something of a wins-loss record. Make it more sports like, instead of you could be a nobody and hit the jackpot. It's not going to happen, but that's my nitpick. And the other one, and I would like to see the European Championship come back. I know they have the NXT with the UK Championship, but I want the European Championship. I like that championship. D'Lo Brown, Val Venus, Godfather, such a luminaries like that have held it. But it was a good championship. When they won it with the IC, it was the Euro Continental, and it was a good jumping pad. But those are just two quick things I could think of.
That European title would be huge now. If you watch those European pay-per-views when they did like
The
Clash in
the
Paris,
European
huge.
fans amaze me every time.
Yeah. It's not a bad idea. Triple H, if you hear this, bring it back. You were a European champion. Hey, Paul, get on the phone.
I love Charlie saying that.
About European?
Yeah, well, it changed my opinion completely now because now it brought back other things that I would love to change. And there's one aspect I would definitely change. I'll still give my original answer, but one that's actually has some substance, I guess.
So let me follow up, Charlie, real quick, and we'll get to yours, Jeremy. One question. So if you win you don't want them to get the main event of WrestleMania, and that's fine. And I don't think that was always the case anyway, because like Hacksaw Jim Duggan won it, and he didn't get a title shot. So what would be the prize for winning Royal Rumble? Just winning Royal Rumble?
No, I would say you get similar to Money in the Bank, you get a future shot at a title. but you don't get the main event of WrestleMania.
Okay, that's fair.
CM Punk, yeah, he basically left, for that very reason, because he couldn't get the main event of WrestleMania the first time, not because he didn't win a world title. So I think
Right.
you win it, hey, you move up, and you do get a world title with that year shot, but not the main event of WrestleMania. No, that's way too valuable.
That's true. Because they have had people win it recently who were supposed to kind of be like Shinsuke Nakamura won it. And then he got a title shot, but it wasn't really a main event anyway. And it wasn't even the best match on the card or the biggest. So yeah,
Right.
that's a valid point. Valid point. Jeremy.
I got one. What if it means something? That person actually gets a real big push to see if you can develop him into a better face of the company. Because come on, it's wrestling. It's favoritism on who you're pushing to keep the face of the company, but you got to give them even more effort to see if they can do something, mix up their gimmick a little bit, but give that person the opportunity and chance.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
What
You have them
what
kind
what
of win and
wait,
then
wait,
have them
I
win
missed
and
that.
then
That went over my head.
so like have them
What
win,
would you change?
give them more
So
opportunity. So yeah, have them win. I follow you, Jeremy. Have them win and then start giving them bigger matches. Like you get a push. You're not gonna get if you're a mid carder, you're not getting a title shot
Okay, I got
automatic.
you.
You get
yeah,
some.
I
You
got
get
you.
a shot to get a shot. You know what I mean?
yes,
I got you.
Yeah,
put
that
you in
makes
the
Yeah.
sense.
running
No,
more
yeah.
than you were ready, where you're just a jobber or
Right.
something, or you're filling a spot. Like you actually get something to work more towards, where you're not stuck in a rut.
Kind of how they bring them up in the UFC, or maybe a
Yeah.
ranking system. How about
Yeah,
that? A ranking
A
system.
AW
How
did
would you
that for
do
a
that
little bit.
though?
AEW try. I know they tried, but
It's hard. Yeah,
you do it off win
Too
loss,
many
and
variables.
yeah.
I think we can make it work.
Book it. We'll
Charlie, we'll
start
leave
our.
that up to you to develop a ranking system that's perfect. Only a
I
you
got
have
it.
trust.
When we open
I
our
got it.
indie fed, we'll have a ranking system.
Yeah.
There you go.
So stick around long enough, we'll do that. All right, Jeremy, look, your turn.
All right, so one of them that I was gonna say, you're all gonna laugh, but like the bra and panties matches, stuff like that. Godfather with the hoe train, like that stuff was just pure entertainment. Everybody wanted to see it, men, women. It was just good slapstick humor. Nothing
Yeah,
wrong with that. It kept us on our toes a little bit, and we tuned in for those moments. Like we knew a certain match was going to be on. Like if I missed the rest of it, I'd need to see this match occasionally. Just why not?
I
And
just want to
now
say
that go
real
ahead.
quick, I am amazed by how Charlie has a figure for every single segment you talk about. He has that
I
figure.
had no idea Godfather was coming up, and it was just right here.
Sorry, Jeremy, go ahead.
No, it's all good. But the other one, Charlie speaking on the European title and everything, I would like to see like the 24/7 hardcore title back. Like having aspects of like APA at the time protecting Crash Holly when he had the title and it kept switching hands. It was entertainment in filler for the real matches at times, but it was always good off ring entertainment. Something could happen at
Yeah.
any given moment and somebody could get pinned. It was just fun to watch.
I'm
Charlie, I'll
gonna
let you
have
go first.
listen. Your first point I like. Your second point I could not agree with you less. They tried to bring back the 24/7 title, and it sucked. It was horrible, terrible. Joe, I think you can attest to that. It was pretty bad. I think
Yeah,
that had its run. It's had its heyday, but unlike the European side, I think we could bury that one in the bag.
yeah, I'd say the 24/7 rule on whether it be the 24/7 title or the hardcore title, that sucked. That was bad. 24/7 title was terrible. I don't even know who ended with it. When did it disappear? What happened? We don't know.
I have no idea.
I do like the idea of hardcore, having a hardcore champion if you bring back like something to that effect, but I think it's gone too far. Me personally, I like ECW, so don't get me wrong here. But like the stuff in AEW, the deathmatch stuff, I'm not super big on, and that would be my
I
worry.
can't get into it.
Yeah, I think it goes too far now, but I do like the idea of bringing back old hardcore. That'd be cool.
So
Having
we need
something
to
like
find
that.
a medium right, in between both of them.
You gotta find somewhere in between and not 24/7 because I think didn't Pat Patterson win it at one point or Gerald Briscoe?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
yeah, both of them. Mae Young won it, I think, at one point in time.
Probably. Yeah, I think you're right.
The vaginal
Um,
crossface.
Oh,
Oh my God. And there's Jeremy's quote of the week.
that's the big Papanomic quote of the week.
Making that a shirt too, the vaginal crossface. Thank you, Jeremy, for that.
You're welcome.
All right, I will jump into mine. I'll go one off the Royal Rumble because Charlie talked about that real quick. So I will say Royal Rumble. Let's start making random people win the Royal Rumble. It's not believable that your top guy is always going to win the Royal Rumble. There's going to be a battle where people are getting thrown out of the ring, and Akira Tozawa is the last one standing in the ring. Give Akira Tozawa the win. Give him the Royal Rumble, push him to the main event, see what happens. I mean that half seriously. I would like to see some. Yeah, I don't like that. It's always the big name that wins. You kind of know who's going to win
Right.
most of the time. I'd
There's
like a
20
surprise
guys
here.
you know or have no chance they're going to win the match.
Exactly. When you throw
Yeah,
half of
25
Change
Pretty-
that.
half of Pretty Deadly is in there, you know they ain't winning. I don't even know their names. Elton something. They ain't winning. Let's make it fun. Have somebody random win. But then my real one, I will say, finishers. Like finishers don't matter anymore. Like back in the day, you hit a finisher, the match was over. I would love to see it get back to that. Now you see, I mean, we just watched Night of Champions. John Cena hit what 4 AAs in the match. CM Punk hit a couple of GTSs, and it just kept going. Like, make it count a little more. I mean, if you get hit 4 times
Yeah.
with move, it ain't a finishing move.
You're right. Without giving anything away, that was one of our tiebreakers was how many finishers were going to be attempted
I was
because we
just
knew it was
thinking
going to
that.
be at least 3.
Isn't that what I
you know
guessed?
I mean?
Oh, you
We'll
said
get there.
6?
We'll get there.
I said 4, right?
We'll get there.
We'll get
Yeah,
there.
I think you said 4. But yeah, let's make finishers count a little more. I don't want to see 100 AAs and you keep kicking out. What's the point? It's not a finisher.
I'm used to being
like
called
that.
the FU. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah. But when you
You
saw
can,
the
it's
DDT, you knew
Netflix.
the match was over.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So that was our warm-up question. That was a fun one there. So we will jump in. It is
Let us
now
know what you
time.
guys think.
Yeah, give us your opinions too. Tell us what you think. What would you
Yeah,
change?
got any good ideas? Tell us.
And do you think we're nuts with our
Especially
ideas?
was it Jeremy the Vaginal Crossface by Mae Young?
Yeah.
I can't put that in the title for the thumbnail, unfortunately, but we will have that somewhere in the notes. All right, it's now time
If
to
anyone
move
seeks
on.
us out at if anyone seeks us out at SummerSlam and gives me a sign that says that, I will give you a merch table item free of charge.
A sweaty one.
Sweaty.
Oh, very sweaty.
All right. Time to move on to our botch bracket final. So if you've been here with us, if you followed us, if you watched the clips, we had our botch bracket for the funniest botch of all time. We started with 8. We've narrowed it down to 2. So if you want to know what those starting 8 were, go back 2 episodes ago. We started. Last week we had our semifinals. This week we are doing our finals. And it's come down to 2 juggernauts, truly 2 juggernauts. I have my prediction of what's going to win. I'm not going to give it away. So first, we have Vince McMahon tearing his quads, entering the Royal Rumble when Batista and Cena both went over the ropes at the same time. Vince runs in the ring, tears both quads, and sits there and continues to bark orders while sitting on his butt. And yeah, hilarity ensues. Many nights laughing at that. Versus the famous Booker T N-word promo. So Booker T's cutting a promo on Hulk Hogan, drops an N-bomb in there, instantly regrets it. You see it all over his face as he covers. Well, yeah, you don't see his face. He covers his face. So Booker T regretting it with Sensational Sherry in the background, consoling him. So we've got down to these 2. I will hand it over to you guys. If we are in a tie, I will be the tiebreaker. So let's go. Jeremy, you were going to go first.
Oh, this is a tough one because there's 2 aspects of this one for me. There's the actual true wrestling fan that still lurks within inside my soul. And then there's the pure comedy of what's outside the wrestling one that people will always remember who's never watched a day of wrestling in their life, but probably have seen that clip at this point in time.
I think go what makes you fun. Go what you think is funniest.
Go with your gut.
I think for me, it's got to be the Vince one, just on the sheer memory of living that moment and the whole situation, like we've discussed on the previous episodes, like it was the perfect storm for everything for me on that day to watch that one. And as much as I want to pick Booker T and that one, I just can't, even though I think it's the funniest thing outside of wrestling that is wrestling to happen, period, that's everybody can recognize.
All right. So it's gonna be Vince. That's one for Vince.
Well, that's
Let's
Vince
go with
Quad. All right.
Charlie.
Listen, both of these are funny. If you want to laugh, if you're having a bad day, put on Shawn Michaels overselling versus Hogan, or one of these two clips, because you're gonna laugh and you're gonna have a good time. But this one, to me, without a doubt, is Vince tearing his quads. Uh, I do, yeah, same with Jeremy. I have a personal reason behind it, but I don't care if this thing happened in 1920. It's hysterical. The fact that the man not only blows out one, he blows out two, and he sits there. And you know what a control freak he is, and how mad he must be, and he's just sitting there yelling. It's I can't watch it without laughing to this day. I can't.
It's literally like the Looney Tunes cartoon where you could see steam coming out of his ears as he's sitting there.
Yes.
Seriously.
Like you see the red rising, and as it gets past his ears, it starts smoking out.
All right. So if I were to give him my vote, I would have went the same way. Vince staring his quads is one of the funniest things I've ever seen on TV in anything. Hilarious. Yeah, you can't match that. Sorry, Booker T. That was very funny. We had a lot of very funny ones in this, but yeah, there's no way anything's beating Vince. Vince tearing his quads, clean swept his way through the finals to the championship. Not a single vote against him. Congratulations, Vince McMahon, for tearing your quads. You have won.
Is that a pure
our
freak?
And
Yeah.
I like to give Booker T a clap, because you know what? He recovered from that promo and became a five-time WCW champion.
Yeah.
So that could have really derailed his career,
Sucker.
and he recovered very well to have a Hall of Fame career.
Thank
So
God
that's
it
a good
happened at
point.
Win-win.
WCW and not WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and it happened very early in his career. Like he was still in Harlem Heat. He hadn't even been a solo yet. And
Right.
yeah. Really, really good point. I didn't think about that way.
I think
Good
it probably helped WCW at that time.
point. Maybe not. I don't know. Ted Turner, it probably didn't really care if I were to give my take on that. All right. So congratulations, Vince. That was our first bracket for the funniest botch of all time. Vince wins that. We've got some more brackets lined up. I've got one already drawn up if we're ready for it. But we got some we're going to talk about. We're going to keep this bracket thing going. It was pretty fun to do. And let us know what you think.
Vince is having a bang up year. He continues to have a bang up year.
He's had a rough year. We gave him a win here. This is good for him. This should be
gave him a win.
Probably the only
celebratory
win he's getting recently.
Yeah, exactly. We gave him a win. So congrats, Vince. You did something good this year. You tore your quads. All right. We are going to move on to our next segment. I will hand it over to our resident master of merch, Charlie, to do our merch table.
All right. For this week's merch table, I didn't want to go too big. You know, we got the Night of Champions that we're going to review, talk about a little bit, but I wanted to give a little bit of flavor. So first, what do we got here? We got Jeremy. I don't know if you know these fellas, but Joe, I know you do. Probably the best trio, I think, of all time. The freeboard rule was invented for these guys, but it's Terry Bam Bam Gordy, Buddy Roberts, and Michael Hayes. Jack Pacific. I don't think Mattel has made. I know they made a Michael Hayes, but I don't think Mattel has made a trio. I know they didn't make a Buddy Roberts. They might have made a Terry Gordy, but not a trio. Fantastic team right there. Their feud with the Von Erichs. You know, I won't pretend like I'm so old school that I watched Territories. I didn't. I grew up on WWE, but I know about that. I mean, I think everyone knows about that. You've gone back and you watch YouTube. You've watched the Iron Claw probably. You know, that feud set Texas on fire.
One question.
Right. So, what's
Jeremy,
up?
Jeremy, who is your favorite Freebird?
I've never seen any of them wrestle.
I knew you
Doc
didn't. That was a trick
Hendricks.
question.
It's Doc Hendricks.
Oh, I remember him, right? No, I'm not falling for that one. I'm just gonna swallow
Do you
that
remember?
one.
Wait, do you remember Doc Hendricks?
No,
If you
I
saw
don't
him, you'd
think I do.
remember him.
Yeah, no, they took like a really great wrestler and they turned him into a cheesy pitchman.
Which time?
Mid-90s.
It's like 93, 94. All right, but
Yeah.
let's keep it rolling. Next up, this is for my man Jeremy, Mr. Hip Hop himself, King of the Ring. Hey, ho, yo, yo. It's King Mabel, in my opinion, hands down the worst King of the Ring winner. That main
Ron
event that he had versus
Mohawk.
Diesel, it was just terrible. It yeah, just he came back as Big Daddy V. I have a Viscera somewhere around here,
I
but
was gonna
we're
ask
just gonna
about this.
focus on yeah, we're gonna focus on Mabel today, and to cleanse the palate from that for that guy, we have in one of the best ring attires in one of the best matches of all time, 1997 WCW Halloween Havoc, Eddie Guerrero versus this guy, Rey Mysterio. That's that was his actually I think his debut in WCW, and he won
Yep.
the cruiserweight title in this match. It was phenomenal. It's a short match. Jeremy, if you got 10 minutes, throw it on. I think you will even like it. It a great action figure. My nephew tries to steal it all the time, but that is a wonderful character from a wonderful match. So a little eclectic mix on this week's merch table. I hope you enjoyed it.
Could we get a side by side of that Rey Mysterio and the Mabel? Because that Mabel looks like it's
Of course you
heavy.
can.
Legitimately
Of,
looks like it's heavy.
of course you can. Here you are.
Mother of God.
Wow.
And this is him almost killed. He
That
almost got
was his
fired for doing
finisher.
that to for Diesel. No, I think it was on the back. And
Yeah.
Was
Vince
it
wanted to fire him when he came back.
Yeah. Diesel was the top guy. That's why he was the top guy. And Mabel almost killed him.
Yeah.
King Mabel.
Diesel and
Sorry.
Razor Ramon?
Those are big
Remember
names.
when
Mabel,
Undertaker
not so
had
much.
that Phantom of the Opera mask?
Yeah.
That was because of Mabel too.
It was? I don't remember that.
Yeah, he broke Undertaker's orbital. Well, I can't say it. I can't say it. But
Orbital.
he botched it. Thank you. And he broke. That's why he had the Phantom of the Opera mask,
I remember the
which I
Phantom Opera
actually
mask.
I have an Undertaker Phantom of the Opera character.
Save that for another one. But the broken orbital, I remember. I don't remember Mabel doing it, but it somehow doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Definitely
All
not.
right. All right. So if I were to pick my favorite of the week, it's got to be the King Mabel because it is just a massive figure that challenges the size of an LJN figure, and LJNs were pretty big. Oh, wait. Charlie's got an
I mean,
LJN. Don't worry.
I
Where's
mean,
the
I
Sweat
know
Big Show?
It would
we've
challenge
seen
that too.
LJNs before, but I mean that's a Kevin Sullivan LJN, and that's a Mabel. Look,
The Mabel's taller.
it kind of yeah.
My
Wow.
God.
And remember that creepy Big Show with the ginormous hands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Wow.
about
It's even bigger than that.
My
well,
God.
his hand is equivalent to his body.
It's true.
That Mabel looks like it could do the truffle
If
shuffle. I'm just saying that.
if Mabel had those hands, that would be the most terrifying. It might go up there with Gangrel Sweat.
All right.
Oh
That
boy.
was our merch table with a giant Mabel. I like how that rhymed. Thank you, Charlie, for that. We will
You're
you
very
could
welcome.
potentially get one of these at SummerSlam. So stay tuned. We will be talking about
Stay
that
tuned.
later, but a Mabel might be yours if you see us at SummerSlam. So stay tuned. All right, we're going to jump into our deep dive. So this week we are going to keep it a little more topical. We're going to talk about this weekend's Night of Champions. We had a stipulation on this one. We will also revealed our picks for each. We've revealed our picks for each match already on our Instagram. So if you saw it there, it's there. YouTube. If you didn't see it, you're going to find out for the first time. If you weren't keeping tabs, we will reveal who we each picked for each match and who the loser was and faces our stipulation next week. So we're going to start it off. First match of the night, we had Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton in the King of the Ring finals, winner to go face the champion at SummerSlam. So I will open it up with that one. I can start. Whoever has opinions, I have mine, but I'm willing to let somebody else go first here.
As
I
far
just think that
as
match was. I think that match was a layup, kind of. I think everyone that pays attention knew Cody was going to win. It's a good match. It, it wasn't phenomenal, but I think everyone knew Cody was going to win that match.
I don't know. Dave Meltzer gave it the match of the night. I thought in ring wise might have been the match of the night too, but well.
I disagree completely.
So
Sorry, Meltzer.
we won't. You can reveal what your match. We can each reveal our match of the night later, but
Okay.
I won't ask you that yet. But like for me, I think before I get into it, I'll hint a little bit. But there were some inclinations there, along with some other things that went on this week. We'll talk about that could shake up WWE a little bit. So there was in that match, well, at the end of the match, you had Cody Rhodes kind of talking a little heelish, saying how he's beat everybody's favorite to get there, which is very, very true. So on his way to win King of the Ring, who'd he beat? He beat Jey Uso, a fan favorite, probably the second biggest fan favorite face in the company. He beat Damian Priest, another face who was a fan favorite. So he beat these guys on his way to King of the Ring finals, and then beats who else? Randy Orton, another huge face. That and by the way, can we just talk about Randy Orton's entrance? How loud that crowd got singing his song? Unbelievable, guys.
They love
45 years
Randy
old.
Orton.
Yeah,
He's
45 years
so
old.
jacked.
That too. Been in the company forever, and he is as over as he's ever been. And now as a face, which is crazy. I'm a big Randy Orton fan, always have been. And yeah, I
Yeah.
would put that guy again. I'm just going on a rant here about Randy Orton, but top 5 all time in my book. Just so good at everything, so effortless. Like you watched him in this match, so I'll talk about Randy in this match a little bit. You saw some heel things from him, like he was setting up for the punt and kind of pulled back last minute. So there's some really good things in there. The way he tells the story in the match was just phenomenal, I think. But I think so. There's a couple different ways I could see this going with Cody and Randy. I could see a world where Cody wins the title at SummerSlam, which probably happens, right? We probably figure that's going to happen. He'll win it back from John Cena. And then his next feud is going to be a heel Randy Orton. I see Randy Orton turning heel, and then that's going to be the feud for Cody going forward. John will go do his other stuff, but that's kind of my thing. But there was also, so I don't know if you guys saw this. Cody Rhodes did an interview at Fanatics Fest with Kay Adams. So it got Kay Adams from the FanDuel show. So she interviewed him, and he talked a little bit about how his time as a face could be running out. He said, and these are his exact words. So he said, could be a year, could be 3 years, but when the time is right, his face run will end, and he's going to become a heel. So I could also see a world where Cody turns heel at SummerSlam. It could be that soon. He said he'll make the change when the change happens to him. So I think what he's saying, kind of in between the
Yeah.
lines here, is when the fans are really over him, he's going to go heel,
Oh.
right? But I'll
I
pause
think
there.
you
There's
got
a
to
little
give
more to it, but I know.
I hate to cut you off, but I think you got to give Cody the benefit of the doubt because who has known better wrestling instinct than him, right? I mean, his dad's does. He knew when to leave. He knew when to go make his name on the indies. He knew when to, start up AEW. He knew when to leave AEW. And he knows that they'll get tired of a white meat babyface. So he's going to know, and I think he'll be done well. And to your point, Joe, maybe the reason I didn't appreciate the match is because, with Randy Orton, you're going to get a good match. And Cody's been putting on bangers after bangers, So, not to sound like
bar
Sheamus,
was
but
high already.
What?
The bar was set high already with just having those two.
Yeah, so maybe I was expecting like a all-time classic, and it was a very good match. But that's Joe said he's been putting on good matches for 20 years, so maybe I will reel it in just a little bit.
The other interesting point, I'm going to go back to that Kay Adams interview. He did say, so he put over The Rock a lot. He said The Rock wanted him to be a heel already. So this is like behind, breaking the fourth wall, breaking kayfabe here. Wanted him to be a heel already, and put over The Rock a lot, saying The Rock's a real smart guy, this, and this. So pretty interesting that he
Oh,
did that. Yeah, yeah. Um, so it will be interesting to see where he kind of goes from here. Will he heel turn happen soon, or is it going to be a while? But I think we're going to see it.
I
I
didn't.
think we'll.
I got to hear that interview. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a bunch of people talking about it. You can find it. Yeah, there's but Kay Adams at the Fanatics Fest interviewed about it. He talked all about it. So um, it will be interesting. And he also said if he goes heel, you'll know because Twitter and Instagram or X and Instagram are just gonna poo-poo the whole thing. They're gonna absolutely hate it because he said he's gonna be a true heel. He's not gonna be that cool heel. He's gonna do things kind of like John Cena tried to do, just do things that people absolutely hate. So I'm very interested to see that.
I think he's a
Hoping
better sell for that.
he could be, yeah, yeah. Especially
Well, MJF's still the best heel in all of wrestling. I mean, he got attacked this week in Mexico. So
yeah,
if
yeah,
Cody could, I'll give him some credit.
yeah. So that's just so much extra stuff on Cody and kind of where it could go. But yeah, so that was our first match of the night. Then we moved into oh, sorry, we didn't get our picks. So on that match, we all had Cody, kind of like Charlie said, that was a layup. So we all got one there. We're all up tied at one apiece. Then we go into Rhea versus Raquel. Pretty good match. I mean, I think they wrestled in NXT before, so they had a pretty good match there. I was expecting maybe a little more like that, but it was a good match. Roxanne got involved, as I predicted, but my prediction was wrong. I had Raquel. Rhea got the win. Um, Pretty good match. It was a street fight, so a lot of big spots there. That finisher, the riptide off the top of the on the table in the corner was pretty crazy. I was shocked when I was watching. I really thought they were going to fall, but she pulled that off. A really cool move. But yeah, Rhea gets the win there. I'll let Charlie kind of give his take here.
Um, yeah, it was a good match. It was a very good match. Finish the finisher was the best part of the match. That Riptide was awesome. I had Rhea. Um, the only reason I thought she might lose because Liv's hurt and I know they're changing some things up. But yeah, solid match and so I not much to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, I had Raquel because, like I said, I thought Roxanne would get involved and it would probably lead to because I think they were leading to like Raquel and Liv versus Nikki Bella and Rhea
Yeah.
Ripley at some point, whether it be Evolution or SummerSlam. Maybe that got squashed, but that was my thought. That's why I picked Raquel and figured Roxanne get involved there and kind of fill in that Liv role. But that happened, but Rhea still got the win. Jeremy, you also had Rhea. So, and then Jeremy, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that or thoughts on your pick.
Nah, not so much. You guys said it.
All right. So we have Charlie and Jeremy both get one right there. I get my first one wrong. So I am down one at this point. We now lead into our next match. What was the next one? Was it Solo and Jacob? Or was it yeah, it was Solo and Jacob.
Was wasn't it Seth and Karrion? I
Oh,
mean, not
Sammy and
Sammy and Karrion.
doesn't matter. We don't have to go in order. We'll go Sammy and Carrion. Yeah, yeah, you might be right. Um, so we had Sami Zayn versus Karrion Cross, and just a point I'm going to make here. Karrion Cross's intro, I think, is the coolest in all of wrestling. Like that intro was amazing. Like that's the same one he did in NXT, but to see it in that giant arena they were in Saudi Arabia, just absolutely awesome. The coolest. I don't think there's a better one out there right now. But yeah, so I had Karrion Cross on this one. Karrion Cross does not get the win. Sami Zayn wins, but it was a pretty good match. Told the story. I don't think this continues after this. I guess Sammy gets the win and it kind of moves on. Um, but it was a good match. I'm glad to see Karrion Cross getting a push. He's so over. He sold the most shirts in WWE. So to finally see him on a pay-per-view is kind of cool. He's a bad dude in real life, so I like that. He's MMA, jiu-jitsu, all that stuff. The guy breaks baseball bats with his forearms. If you haven't seen that, go watch it. He can do two at a time. So this guy should be getting a push. He can probably maul half the roster. So anyway, I'm just ranting here, but yeah, I'll hand it over to you, Charlie. Give your thoughts.
The next Stephen Blackman.
I had Joe. I'm gonna kind of sound like a parrot on this one. I think his entrance is phenomenal. I like Karrion Cross as a wrestler. He's a bad ass dude that's got a baddie next to him. and I was happy to see him on a PLE. I want him to get on some more. I want him to be a main eventer. He should be a main eventer. He cuts great promos. He can work, and like Joe said, in real life, he's a badass. He's got, I mean, Scarlett, yeah, you yeah. But in that entrance, that entrance is something else. If you haven't seen it, Jeremy, I'm talking to you. You should go back and watch the entrance. It's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah. But yeah, it was really cool to see that there. It doesn't get the win. Sammy gets the win there. Charlie, I believe you also had carrying cross, so we both get the L there. I am down 2. Charlie is down 1, and somehow Hollywood Stradamus over here had Sami Zayn, picked names out of a hat and got Sami Zayn, and continues to win. The guy didn't even get to see most of the pay-per-view, and he still gets it right. So Sami Zayn gets the win. Jeremy is still has yet to get an L here. As we move to our next match, Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu for the U.S. title. And I will say I had my profit moment as well. I called all of this. I called it
Yes, you
all.
did.
All right. I had Solo Sikoa winning and the debut of Hikuleo, who is now going by the name Talatonga, I believe. Um, Getting involved to get Solo Sikoa the win. I think, again, I've said this plenty of times. Jacob Fatu is probably my favorite wrestler right now, but um, this was my favorite match of the night. It was fun. Saw some really cool stuff. You get to see the athleticism of Jacob, and Solo did some cool stuff too. But then seeing that whole new bloodline come down, and we had the return of the infamous, the legendary Tongaloa as well. Let's not forget that. A gray-haired Tongaloa that debuted or re-debuted. So we saw him back as well. The legend. Go watch his highlights online. Hilarious stuff. But yeah, Jacob loses the title. So I think it'll definitely going to lead to something at SummerSlam. We'll talk about that more in a second. But Charlie, I hand it over to you to get your opinion.
I mean, Jacob Fatu continues to blow me away match after match. I mean, me and Joe were texting during the event that when he took that German, complete head over tea kettle, ass over tea kettle or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
and he's so like a 150 pounder. I mean, to do that, and you saw Solo do it. There's no way he could have hit that move. And then 2 minutes later, Fatu's flying, diving out of the ring. What does he weigh?
He's got to
You
be like
you don't
260,
know.
270. Yeah.
Right. He's just a huge dude. Like I said, I mentioned this on prior pods. Joe texted me about him a long time ago, and the guy continues to blow me away. If he's not a world champion, then Jeremy's not a North Star dumbass of wrestling. I mean, he's got to be a world champion. He's got it written all over him.
Yeah, for sure. I'd agree with that. He's definitely world champion material, probably sooner than later. Um, and where this story kind of goes, and this is what I like about wrestling right now, about WWE specifically. It's so unpredictable. Like usually you can call it right away, and you'll see
Right.
with some, the main event too. We'll talk about that, but it's really cool to not know what's exactly going to happen. So what's next for this feud? My prediction is Roman might come back. You got Jimmy probably siding with Jacob, and maybe Roman comes back and helps. Roman may get involved in the main event match too, what we're going to talk about. So really cool stuff. It's definitely going to continue. It doesn't feel like this feud is over. So
Right.
it'd be really cool to see where that goes. And I think Jacob, like you said, is going to go world title soon.
Yeah, no, just to piggyback off that, it was cool to see that because he finished as a betting favorite at minus 250. You know,
Yeah.
that's like, yeah. So if you're just that's a really live dog in Solo, and he won clean. I mean, not well. I mean, interference, but so it is
Yeah.
fun to not be able to. I mean, normally, Joe, 5 years, 6 years ago, we could move by move. We could call it.
Yeah.
Now it's I'm getting some wrong. It's fun to be surprised. It's fun. It's fun to suspend that disbelief.
Yeah, and shout out to Solo too. Solo's been doing some really good stuff. He went from like that bloodline enforcer to like the new bloodline leader where he was kind of not taken very seriously. Now he's doing some
Yeah.
pretty funny stuff though. I'll give him credit. His promos are pretty
I
funny,
know.
and it seems like he's kind of going back to like that bad dude tough guy a little bit, which is cool too. So shout out to him because he's done real cool stuff, and fans hated him, and I think they're gonna kind of get behind him a little bit here too, like they did with Dom. That's my prediction. But cool to see Solo kind of continue to grow and change his character. So good for him. But yeah, this match, I was the only one who had Jacob. So, I mean, sorry, I'm the only one who had Solo. Charlie and Jeremy each had Jacob. So Charlie and I are tied at this point with 2 wrong apiece. And
Who would
Jeremy
have
has
thought?
1 now. Yeah, so it's a tight race up until this match. This match was the one that decided it. So we had Asuka versus Jade Cargill. I have some strong opinions on this match. Um, I will say I had Asuka, so that's not the reason I have strong opinions. Whatever, I lost this match, but I think you just see some glaring deficiencies with Jade. That feels like a rushed push, kind of like they did with Roman back in the day, when they kind of pushed him all the way to the top and he wasn't ready. I think Jade was blown up in the ring about halfway through the match, it seemed like. Now, don't get me wrong, they're in Saudi Arabia. It's very humid. It's a tough climate to wrestle in. So I get that. And I'd be blown up in about 30 seconds in there. But when she was in the ring, she went up against Asuka, who's a legend. She's been around for God knows how long, wrestling in Japan and then WWE. So you could see, and Charlie, you said this specifically, you could see the difference between Asuka and Jade. And Asuka is very, very good in the ring.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so you can see the difference. I know where they're going. Like if you were going to make a perfect looking women's champion, Jade Cargill is the epitome of that. She's ripped, she's tall, she's beautiful, she looks like Storm. I'm an X-Men fan, so that's awesome. But again, like the in-ring stuff looked a little choppy, and then the promo at the end, I don't get it. I don't know what she was referring to. Maybe it was like a shot at AEW. I don't still don't know. If anybody does, please clarify. But yeah, that's my thoughts. But yeah, Jade gets the win there. Charlie, hand it over to you.
To steal a line from my boy Bruce Pritchard, and then the damn ring bell had to go off, or the damn ring, the bell had to ring.
Had to ring.
She had a pretty cool entrance, and then wow, the work rate was so glaringly obvious. The separation. I mean, Asuka was selling her butt off. She executed really like high technical moves perfectly, and Jade looked like she was struggling to keep up. I mean, to a point where I like Jade. I think she is going to be a big star. And like Joe said, if you're going to prototype it, that's it. But she did not look like she was ready for that position. Asuka should have, in my opinion, won that match. Just and I picked Jade. I knew they were going to kind of go with Jade. I know where they're going, but I wish I could go back and change it because you just see what a better wrestler Asuka is. And she's got less time left. So that's my thought.
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to see Jade.
She's going to sell more merch.
It's true, too. She will. She'll probably be in an X-Men movie someday.
Yeah.
But I would have loved to have seen her debut in NXT before she came to the main roster. Just to, because I think she's going to be a huge star. It's just going to take time, and the fans are probably going to be booing her a little bit at some point, I think. That'd be my guess because it feels very Roman-esque, like when Roman first got his push. So anyway, but I would have liked to have seen that and kind of her develop there a little bit. But again, she gets the win. She's going to go SummerSlam, and we'll see who she challenges. Probably Tiffany Stratton. I think they're on the same show. But you know what's happening. Naomi's getting involved. She's cashing.
Right.
Jade probably wins that belt. Naomi immediately cashes in and wins it. That's my guess. I think that's like everybody's guess. But who knows? Could be something different. Again, we just talked about how unpredictable it is. So maybe that doesn't happen. All right. So I was down 2. Down 3. Charlie's down 2. Jeremy's down 1. So at this point, Jeremy mathematically is our winner. And now we go to our last match where, unfortunately for me, we all had John Cena winning. So that makes me the loser, facing our stipulation of wearing a lucha mask all next week. But before we get to that, let's talk about the match here. John Cena, CM Punk, great promos leading up to the match. Again, I'm not big on CM Punk. I respect him. I think he's a great wrestler. He's just not a big fan of him. John Cena, again, I talked badly maybe a little bit about him in an episode, but I'm not against John Cena. John Cena is John Cena. I am a fan, but it was a good match. Really cool promos leading on up to it. You had John Cena cutting the pipe bomb, which I thought was just phenomenal. That was great. Probably my favorite promo of the year. And then CM Punk coming out this past Friday as the Doctor of Thugonomics and rapping. So that was really cool. And he did it very well. Yeah, really good promo. And then the match itself was fun. I think there was a lot of chaos at the end there with Seth getting involved. And I honestly, for a second, didn't know which way it was going to go. I felt like, again, another layup, John Cena would win. But I wasn't sure where it was going to go. It
Right.
really got kind of messy at the end there. Penta, you know what I thought was the funniest part of the match? Punk's getting beat up in the ring by, I think, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. And Penta comes out to make the save. But he's still doing the Penta walk down to the ring very slowly while CM Punk is getting demolished. And then he ends up eating a spear on the ramp. So I thought it was pretty funny. I love Penta. Love Penta. But yeah. So, but John Cena ends up getting the win after some interference. But yeah, get your guys' opinion on that.
It was a good match. You saw some of Cena face stuff, not wanting it to take Seth Rollins' help, and then, ultimately going back to the heel and using it to his advantage. But John Cena's heel turn was getting a little bit flat for me. And thank God we have CM Punk. He elevates everybody that he works with. That feud it got reignited. John Cena's heel turn got turned back up. Those promos were masterful. Dr. Thugonomics won the pipe bomb reverse bond. It was awesome. Again, just another testament to CM Punk. He's a asset to any roster. He's not a cancer to the locker room. He is a captain of a locker room. Okay. I want this guy in my locker room.
You're not with him, you're against him.
I believe I was the one that said he was a cancer to a locker room, so I'll take that. It's fair criticism.
I think you and I heard that like 1,000 wrestlers say that.
That's true. Yeah. But yeah, I think you brought up a good point too. Is John Cena kind of showed some face instincts there. He even did the five knuckle shuffle, which I think he was kind of avoiding previously in his
right.
in his run because he didn't want fans to cheer for him. So he did that too. So again, I still stick by my point. We're going to see John Cena return to a face. There could even be a situation I could envision where Cody and Cena at SummerSlam do the double turn. Cena goes back face, Cody goes heel, maybe. I don't know. So again, pretty unpredictable. Could happen. I could also see I don't know how you get there, but I could see like a fatal four-way at SummerSlam too, where you have Cena, Punk, Seth, and Cody in that main event. I could see that happening too. I'm not sure how you get to it, but it doesn't feel like, to me, it doesn't feel like that CM Punk story is over the way that ended.
No.
Maybe I don't want it to be over, but it doesn't feel like a true ending. So I think we'll probably see that revisited at some point. But
let's just say this: 20 years ago, we were heading into SummerSlam with the aforementioned King Mabel versus Diesel. This year, we're going into a SummerSlam. We're excited. We don't know who's gonna win.
Way to be WWE. I think 30 years ago.
Now it's 95 or 94, so it's 20 or
Dude,
21.
It's 2022 or 2025. That's 30 years ago and 95.
Yeah, that's 30.
Yeah.
You're doing the big Poponomics mathematics, aren't you?
He did not go to his big Poponomics class.
Nope.
You got me big Poponomics up, man. I don't know what I'm saying. I think actually just thinking of Mabel wrestling messed everything up.
It messes you up. You think about King Mabel, you're messed up for a day at least.
Yeah, and I mean, I got him right here. You guys are just looking at him. He's staring at me, for God's sake.
He's taking up a lot of real estate in that hand.
Yeah,
it's true.
I'm looking forward to giving him away at SummerSlam.
All right, so that was our Night of Champions recap. Again, I face the L here. I take the L. I'm wearing a Lucha mask all next episode. I will tell you, I already have it. I have tried it on. I actually feel like I sprained my neck trying to get it off because it's so friggin' tight. It is not comfortable. I will tell you that much. I have a very large head, so probably wasn't designed for me. But stay tuned next week to watch me try and be serious and give these conversations in a.
That's going to be funny because Joe kind of.
I'm kind of, if anything,
of the show.
I'm the even keeled guy here.
He's the driver.
Yeah.
So if Jeremy's wearing it, it's kind of expected. But me, it's gonna be bad. Anyway, So yeah, check it. Tune in next week to see that. You'll see clips too. So stay tuned for that. And we are going to jump into our last segment of the day here, our gimmick of the week. So thank you, Charlie, for presenting this one again. I think you got a 3-week streak here. Pretty good gimmicks of the week. Most of them didn't even know about. So well, last week I knew, but the one 2 weeks ago, Furface did not know. So we did Furface 3 weeks ago. Last week was Mantor, and this week we are doing the Mongolian Mauler, one I have never ever seen before. So this was a new one for me. So his real name, I had to have it here because I can't remember it. Peter Raymond Miller. So was pretty much a journeyman wrestler, wrestled in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. But his big, I guess his big claim to fame, he debuted in WCW in 1994 and was there for only 4 matches. So the character itself is very interesting. So please look this up if you see this guy. So he looks like he would have been in any like 90s new metal band. Like he looked like he could have been in Mudvayne. He had black contacts, so his eyes were all blacked out. He had a completely bald head minus like a little spike on the front. Very large guy, well over 300 pounds. Had like this pointy goatee as well. Very strange. So like I don't know. Like normally we talk about these gimmicks. He's like, oh, Vince came up with that. He did this on his own. So this is really weird. And like, did people actually believe this is what Mongolian people looked like? Like this is insane. He had and he
before the internet.
Yeah, right. Mongolia was just like a made up place. Nobody knew what went on there. And if you watch if you watch matches, you will also see he had like the Iron Sheik boots with the little pointy toe thing. So really, really weird. Just a really weird dude. But yeah, wrestled in
lamp and he pops out.
Yeah, Mongolian genie. That's a good point. It's kind of what he looks like a demonic Mongolian genie.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's an evil genie. That's the closest thing. You're right.
But yeah, how was in WCW?
Should have ran with that.
He faced some of the top guys in WCW too, which is crazy. He wrestled Sting. He wrestled who do we have? Brian Pillman, Steve Austin, what do you call it? Road Dogg. What was Road Dogg's? Brian
James.
What was he?
Brian James.
I have it here.
Brian Armstrong.
Brian Armstrong. There you go. And Dustin Rhodes. So these are the guys he went up against in his few matches in WCW.
So like all crazy. Future Hall of Famers.
Exactly. How did that happen? And he wasn't. So he went up against all these guys, and he's not. I mean, he was in the ring. He was, I didn't see anything crazy. His finisher was like a standing elbow drop, so nothing crazy. Just a really crazy looking character, kind of up there with like a guy like Abdullah the Butcher. Maybe I'm giving him too much respect there, but yeah, he's kind of on that level. So yeah, I had a few matches. There was a cool segment. Go ahead, Charlie.
He wouldn't fly today at all.
For many reasons. It was weird. It's probably somebody probably claimed racism on it. I don't know, because I don't think that's what Mongolian people look like.
I'd be offended if I'm a Mongolian and I got that representation. I'll tell you that.
Exactly. But yeah, there was a funny segment where he was managed by Colonel Parker, and Colonel Parker was also managing Steve Austin, and they kind of debuted him. He came out in an interview segment, and they had the Mongolian Mauler lay on his back and put a cinder block on his stomach, and Steve Austin was supposed to break the cinder block with a sledgehammer, which he does. But if you watch it, oh my goodness, this cinder block must have been made of sugar. Austin has the sledgehammer, lifts it up about 3 inches and taps the cinder block, and the whole thing breaks apart on his stomach. It does not look impressive. Right. It's supposed to improve this guy, and it looked absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is on him. He continued wrestling, like I said, was a journeyman, bounced around for a while, and then sadly passed away just last year. So he was 62, passed away just last year. So R.I.P. to the Mongolian Mauler. But yeah.
Here's my only. This is so WCW, right? Why wouldn't you not put him with the Shockmaster and his what was it, the Legion of no, it was his group,
Kevin Sullivan,
all the wacky guys. Kevin Sullivan. Why would the Dungeon of Doom? Why would Colonel Robert Parker manage him? Like, wouldn't that be just the obvious thing to do? Put him there. That's just so WCW. That's what I thought was kind of the only funny thing about it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was very weird and yeah, very out of place to be managed by Colonel Parker. But I guess Mantor was managed by Jim Cornette, so is it really that different?
Yeah. He was half cow, half man.
If you had a match, Mantor versus Colonel Parker, Mantor versus the Mongolian Mauler, who you got?
Give me Mantor.
Jeremy.
I'm going Mongolian Mauler.
I'm gonna go
The
Mongolian
moon.
Mauler.
No, Mantor.
Mongolian Mauler, that cinder block shattered on his stomach. There's no way Mantor beats
That's
that.
true. That's true.
Uh, yeah, so that was the
Sheer tenacity.
Mongolian Mauler, our gimmick of the week. For this week, we followed our weird, beastly, strange character kind of theme these past few weeks. So thank you again, Charlie, for another phenomenal choice. And I hope you got another one for next week that I've never seen before. Charlie's like, I don't know if to call Charlie the master of merch or some type of historian, like random wrestling historian, because you're pulling like I've been a wrestling fan all my life, right? I'm maybe a couple of years older than you. That's it, but I've never seen some of these, and it's unbelievable. I don't know where you pull these out of, but thank you for these. They're phenomenal.
You're,
I agree.
you're welcome. For all my fans out there.
All right. So that was our show for the week. No emails this week. So, guys, email us. Send us emails at squaredcirclequestions.com. Again, ask us questions we can answer on the show. Give us things you want to see us talk about on the show as well, or anything else you want to see. So feel free to reach out to us there. We are on Instagram, Squared Circle Spotlight, YouTube, Spotify, and now Apple Podcasts as well. So you can get it anywhere you want. No excuse not to listen. It's all
No
there.
excuses.
If you check out
Absolutely
the
not.
clips, if you're checking out the clips, go watch the whole video. Go listen to it while you're driving. Go listen to it while you're working, like Jeremy does. No excuse. We want to see you listening to this. We'll be checking in again next week. But with that, I am going to hand it over to Charlie to take us out.
Guys, I will just say, stay tuned. We let some clues in about SummerSlam. We're going to be doing some cool stuff. So stay tuned for that. Keep watching the videos and make sure you tune in next week to the best wrestling podcast on there, where gimmicks are golden, merch is mandatory, and for every pop, we got